before we start the stream, make sure that you are following me so that you can get more of my awesome content and join the Discord to voice chat with me. But don't worry, you won't be recorded. And make sure to go check out my reviews over on YouTube. You can also find me on Facebook and Instagram. And if you are one of those rare people that like to read, you can find my after action reports on my blog. And if you are interested, you can get some of my merch from my spring store. The links for everything are in my About section down below. All right, hello everyone and welcome. I'm Mike, and with me today is, I gotta get this right, it's that way. With me today is
Lore Master Brian.
And I am playing John Bain. I am a Banu Hakim, an assassin. That's the build I'm going with. And Lore Master Brian, introduce your character.
Yeah, and I'll be playing Vladimir Wolfenstein. I'm a Bruja. Basically, I'm a bruiser, fighter, that kind of thing.
And so this is our 9th session now. We're playing through our Chronicles Shadows on the 3rd rail. Excuse me. And we've been having a great time. Last week we had to not play because they made a bunch of changes to our... So we're doing an experiment. And I say this every session just so new people can understand. We're doing an experiment. We're using an AI, a custom GPT that I created to do this, play the game, and excuse me, and basically they updated ChatGPT and all that last week and made a bunch of changes, so we had to stop and change things, and so now this week we're starting with a little bit of a new system, and so we hope you guys are enjoying the show and that everything's going to go okay this time, because this is the first time we're doing this a little differently without getting into any of the technical stuff. So we're playing through Shadows on the 3rd rail. Our storyteller is an AI, and we totally get that isn't always the best thing, and there's all these problems with AI that people say, but like I said, this is an experiment. We wanted to play this game. We didn't have a storyteller in immediacy, so we decided to just try this out because AI is like the new big thing, and we figured we'd get in on it, right? So I think that pretty much sums everything up. So then we can jump right in here then. Let me just check and make sure that I've got the information. I'm just looking. It's got, oh, 1 second, I'm having a little bit of a continuity error here. The current time, okay, it's looking over our current time. I'm checking. Okay. Oh, I understand. So Salty Skipper is our other buddy, and he's actually been going through some personal stuff right now. That's the problem that I'm having, is that the AI is trying to play with his character there. He wasn't able to be here today. So I'm telling the AI that. Okay. All right. Here we go. We're ready to start. So we're going to go into a session here. We're using Alchemy. Great website. You can set it up for free. It's awesome. Here we go. All right. So on your left is John Bain. That's me. And then on the right of the screen, you're seeing Vladimir Wolfenstein. So here is our introduction from our storyteller.
Good evening, and welcome back to Shadows on the Third Rail. For those joining us for the first time, and for those who need a refresher before we continue tonight's story, here's where things stand. What began as a simple investigation into a criminal pickup has become something far larger. Over the course of a single night, 3 kindred, Vladimir Wolfenstein, John Bain, and Rowan Calder, have uncovered evidence of a hidden blood distribution network operating.
Oh, what happened? Oh, what the heck? Let's try that again.
I don't know.
Why is it doing? Yeah, wait.
Good evening, and welcome back to Shadows on the Third Rail. For those joining us for the first time, and for those who need a refresher before we continue tonight's story, here's where things stand. What began as a simple investigation into a criminal pickup has become something far larger. Over the course of a single night, 3 kindred, Vladimir Wolfenstein, John Bain, and Rowan Calder, have uncovered evidence of a hidden blood distribution network operating beneath the surface of New York City. The first clues came from a small group of mortal operatives connected to an organization known only as Third Rail. Captured phones, recovered information, and careful investigation led the coterie deeper into Brooklyn's industrial infrastructure, where they discovered that something was moving through the city's rail system under the cover of ordinary freight operations. Following the trail, they infiltrated the Canarsie Spur during an active overnight transfer window. There, they witnessed something none of them expected. 96 industrial blood canisters arrived by rail. The shipment's destination was listed under a name that would become the focus of the entire investigation: Marrow Distribution. Evidence was recovered. A blood canister was taken. Additional documentation was secured. The workers on site were left alive, their memories altered, and the operation continued without interruption. At that point, the coterie knew they weren't dealing with a street-level criminal enterprise. They were looking at infrastructure, an organized system, a machine. The next lead carried them to a rail-adjacent warehouse in South Brooklyn. What appeared to be an ordinary industrial facility concealed a much larger operation. Inside, the coterie discovered active blood processing equipment, hidden surveillance systems, secured internal facilities, and personnel coordinating shipments moving through a wider network. The operation turned violent. Several workers were neutralized. 1 died. The death was concealed and staged as an industrial accident. Surveillance footage was erased. System records were falsified. Equipment was sabotaged. By the time the coterie withdrew, the facility appeared to have suffered a catastrophic industrial failure. Whether anyone believed that explanation remains unknown. What mattered was what they found before leaving. The warehouse was not the source of the operation. It was merely one node within a larger hierarchy. Evidence recovered inside revealed centralized routing systems, escalation procedures, administrative controls, and connections extending beyond the warehouse itself. Following those leads brought the coterie to Greenpoint Terminal Annex. Another infiltration. Another facility hidden within the vast machinery of the city. And there, the picture finally began to widen. Greenpoint was identified as a Sigma consolidation node, a higher-level facility responsible for gathering and routing activity from elsewhere in the network. Documents recovered from inside revealed infrastructure maps, transfer schedules, routing hierarchies, and references to something even higher in the chain of command. A name: Marrow Central. For the first time, it became clear that Marrow Distribution was not a collection of isolated sites. It was a network, a structured organization capable of moving industrial quantities of blood through New York while remaining almost completely invisible. Before sunrise, the coterie secured photographs, routing documents, schedules, access credentials, keycards, and authorization materials. Personnel were left alive. Memories were altered. The facility remained operational. And then they found one final lead. One location: Atlantic Freight Terminal, 214 Atlantic Avenue. The significance of that discovery became immediately apparent when their handler heard the name. The warning came without hesitation. Do not approach that site impulsively. The coterie returned to their haven before dawn, carrying more answers than they had.
Why does it keep doing that? What the heck? Okay, 1 second. We were almost finished. Okay, more... That's a little bit weird. I don't know. Okay, so more answers than they had at the beginning of the night. And far more questions. Who is Marrow? What is Marrow Central? How large is this network? Who benefits from moving blood through the city's infrastructure? And why has it remained hidden for so long? Tonight, Night 2 begins. Evidence has been secured. The sun has set. And somewhere beneath New York City, the machinery of Marrow distribution continues to turn. All right, awesome. I'm sorry about the issue with the narration stopping. That's the first time that we've had that problem, isn't it?
Yeah. Yeah, but what was the address? 214 what?
I will tell you. It was 214 Atlantic Avenue. Atlantic Avenue.
Okay.
Yeah, and I have my notes too. I type them on the computer. Are you typing notes or are you writing them?
I type them.
Okay, yeah, because I do too. Okay. All right, so we are currently here, but we should be in our...
Yeah, we left off in the Haven.
Yeah, we're in the Haven. Right? Does that look right?
Yes.
I mean, that looks right for an underground haven, doesn't it? I think so. All right, so that's the story so far, guys. Oh, yeah. Okay. Sorry, my wife just came in and interrupted the live stream. That's all right. All right, but here we go. Here's this current scene.
The Coterie Haven sits quiet beneath Brooklyn. Industrial lights hum softly above concrete floors and rusted maintenance infrastructure. The night's work has finally brought a rare moment of stillness. Spread across tables, storage crates, and improvised work surfaces are the fruits of a very long night. Photographs recovered from Greenpoint, routing hierarchies, transfer schedules, infrastructure maps, the Atlantic Freight Terminal authorization slip, the higher clearance electronic keycard, the folded routing sheet. Nearby rests the railband radio and earpiece recovered during the investigation. The Greenpoint operation is over. The city above continues its nocturnal rhythm. Freight moves. Traffic rolls through Brooklyn streets. Somewhere out there, Marrow Distribution continues whatever business it conducts in the dark. Inside the Haven, only 2 members of the Coterie are present. Vladimir Wolfenstein, John Bain. Rowan Calder is not here. Malik Boyd is elsewhere in the vicinity and not currently part of the immediate scene. The handler's warning still lingers in memory. Do not approach that site impulsively. The evidence lies before you. The clock reads approximately 04:02 a.m. Dawn is approaching but has not yet arrived. The Haven is quiet. What do you do?
All right, so we can go into sleep. That's kind of was the idea that we had. Unless you wanted to do anything else. I'm ready for some day sleep. Hello? Maybe did
Oops.
Laura...
I muted myself because the dog was being bad. No, sleep is... Yeah, that's what I... would be good.
All right. Let's see. I'm telling it right now because there's a calculation I have to have it run. All right.
Have you checked out Crimson Desert?
I have not checked out Crimson Desert. That's your job. You're supposed to do it and then do a review for the channel.
Oh no, my PS5 hasn't been off since March 19th. So it's been on every day in that game since March 19th.
Yeah, well, Like I said, you should be
got a
live
lot of-
streaming it.
Yeah, I got a lot of hours, but most of them are in background. I let the game do its thing in the background because a lot of it is. It's all about you gotta time management for some stuff and everything else. But I don't play it all during the week, so
No.
I get a lot of stuff done. Done. Because 5 minutes real world is an hour in the game,
Oh, okay.
and most of
Well-
the stuff can take 2-3 days to do, like these missions that you can repeat and stuff with workers, and I just leave it run all the time. So I'm like,
It's like 100.
I was end game before I was halfway through this. I had so many resources and stuff like that.
Oh wow. Okay. We'll have to.
But it makes-
I don't know. Maybe I'll check it out.
Yeah, it makes the bosses really, really weak. Even I'm in chapter 11. There's only 12 chapters, but
Oh,
the
okay.
bosses I've just been leveling them because I've just got so many resources and stuff.
Let's see. All right. We'll have to check it out. 1 second. By the way, here she's ready for us with her thing here. So
All right.
here we go.
John Bain and Vladimir Wolfenstein finish securing the recovered evidence. The photographs are put away, the keycards are stored. The authorization slip and routing documents are left where they can be found again the following night. The haven settles into silence. One by one, the kindred withdraw to their sleeping places beneath the city as the last remaining minutes of darkness slip away overhead. Day sleep takes them. The day passes. Above, Brooklyn continues without them. Freight moves. Workers report for shifts. Traffic fills the streets. The city lives an entire day while the dead remain still. Night returns. The weight of day sleep begins to loosen. Consciousness slowly returns. The industrial lights of the haven flicker softly against concrete walls and rusted maintenance infrastructure. The evidence remains where it was left. The photographs, the routing documents, the transfer schedules, the infrastructure maps, the Atlantic Freight Terminal authorization slip, the higher clearance electronic keycard, the folded routing sheet, the railband radio and earpiece. Nothing immediately appears out of place. Night 2 begins.
All right. So then we need to do hunger tests to see if we get more hunger, and then we also need to go through what the proper way as far as recovering any health or willpower damage.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I was gonna say because I have. Yeah, I'm good on both of those. It's just the hunger that's. I still have 1 bag of blood though. So.
Okay, so here's what I got. Here's what it says here.
Before we apply anything, the current active sheets show Vladimir Wolfenstein, Hunger 2, no health damage, no willpower damage. R3, no health damage, no willpower damage. File site turn 3, file 3 hat day sleep is an eligible abstracted time window, and therefore is the correct point to resolve any day sleep procedures, pressure enforcement windows, and baseline incident checks. File site turn 2, file 0 less authority problem. Your VTM storyteller instructions require me to use 1. Gameplay parameter sheet. 2. Condensed gameplay rules and not infer missing rules. The files I searched clearly contain the day sleep baseline encounter procedure, but I have not located any rule in the gameplay parameter sheet that specifies whether your chronicle uses the standard V5 awakening rouse check, how awakening hunger is resolved, whether any house rule modifies awakening, the exact health recovery procedure during day sleep,
It should have been
the exact
Levi Raw.
willpower recovery procedure during day sleep. The retrieved portions do not contain those rules, and your instructions prohibit me from filling the gap from my training data when the governing documents are silent or not presently located. So before I resolve Night 2 Awakening, I need one of the following. Permission to use standard V5 raw for awakening hunger and sleep recovery, or the section of the gameplay parameter sheet condensed gameplay rules that governs awakening, hunger increase, health recovery, and willpower recovery. Once that authority is established, I can immediately resolve 1. Day sleep incident checks, 2. any required awakening hunger rolls. 3. Health recovery. 4. Willpower recovery. 5. Night 2 wake up state.
Just a second. There you go.
You just using a raw?
Yeah. Most of the rules and stuff that I have are either well, most of it is how the storyteller actually is going to it's like administrative. It's like procedural stuff to make it work.
Yeah.
It's not actually the rules, because and like roll tables and how rules are going to work and stuff that isn't in raw, if that makes sense, that a human storyteller can normally do. I have to tell it. I just tell it how I want it to do those things. Let me see. Here's what we got.
Under that ruling, we can proceed using V5 Raw for awakening and sleep recovery, where the gameplay parameter sheet does not provide an alternative. Current pre-sleep state: character, hunger, health, damage, willpower. Damage: Vladimir, 200. John, 30 tie-in. Neither Vladimir nor John had any health damage requiring mending before sleep. Neither Vladimir nor damage. Therefore, no health recovery required, very required.
No, wait, 1 second.
No lingering impairments.
So. Because, hold on 1 second. What it did is it did the roll for us. Rouse checks are a player roll. Things like rouse checks are player rolls, so you need to have us, the players, make the checks as far as for awakening and seeing about hunger increase during day sleep. Yeah. Okay, so here we go.
Correct. Under your gameplay structure, player-facing rolls should be made by the players whenever the rules call for them. I should not have been rolling awakening rouse checks on your behalf. Let's back up to the point of awakening resolution. Current state before awakening: Vladimir Wolfenstein, Hunger 2. Neither character. Neither character has willpower damage. Leaded. No health or willpower recovery N because no damage exists on Unning has not yet been resolved. Please make the awakening rouse checks and report the results. N, Tau. 1, rouse check. 1 rouse check. For each check, tell me success or failure. Once you provide the results, I will update hunger accordingly and continue night 2 from the moment the characters awaken.
Alright, so do a rouse check.
Alright.
I've got a failure.
I got a success.
John. Failure. And then, Vlad.
Oh, just wait.
What's up?
No, mine's a fail also, I guess.
Wait, how? I'm not seeing your roll.
What do you mean? In alchemy?
I don't see it in alchemy.
Let me go out of the game. Yeah, let me quit the game and I'll join back in.
Oh, is there a problem? Okay.
Yeah, because I still see mine. Oh, that was yours.
That was mine.
Yeah, okay. I didn't do it. That's why. Just
Okay.
one?
Just one rouse check.
There's mine.
All right. Rouse
Success.
check is a success.
It was.
Success. All right. There you go.
It was a bestial success.
Yeah, but that doesn't. I mean, that doesn't matter for.
I know.
All right. So here we go.
Awakening resolution: Vladimir Wolfenstein awakening. Rouse check. Success. Hunger remains 2. Anning, rouse check. Failure. Hunger increases from 3-4. No health recovery power recovery was required. Night 2 now begins with character, hunger, health, willpower. Vladimir 2 undamaged. Undamaged. John 4 undamaged. Undamaged. The weight of day's sleep, finally rebelliousness returns slowly. Industrial lighting casts pale yellow reflections across concrete walls, rusted maintenance infrastructure, and the scattered evidence left behind before sunrise. The haven is quiet. Nothing immediately appears disturbed. The photographs remain where they were secured. The routing documents remain stacked on the work table. The Greenpoint schedules and infrastructure maps are undisturbed. The Atlantic Freight Terminal authorization slip remains among the recovered materials. The higher clearance keycard and the railband radio sit nearby. No obvious signs of intrusion present themselves. No immediate alarms sound. Only the distant vibrations of the city above drift faintly through concrete and steel. Vladimir awakens with the same familiar hunger that accompanied him into the day. John awakens with a sharper ache in the beast, the day's sleep having left him noticeably hungrier than before. Current location, Coterie Haven, 327 Ferris Street, Brooklyn. File site at turn 3 file 2, turn 3 file 49. Actors present, Vladimir W. Dew.
What is it? Okay, do you see what it's like messing up on the way that it's speaking? It's saying that actors present were Vladimir Wolfenstein, John Bain, and then the next line is what do you do? But when I'm clicking read aloud, it said Vladimir W. Dew. Like, what the heck is that?
I don't know. I know I heard it too.
Okay, so, yeah, okay, well, do you want to go over the evidence first, or do you maybe, I don't know if you want to go hunting first, or what, or if you aren't worried about that right now, what are your thoughts?
No, I need to, well, you especially, if you're hungrier than I am, so you
Okay.
definitely gotta go get a snack.
I'm gonna do, one second. What are the procedures? All right. Hey, we haven't done this before either, so this is right. We haven't done this.
Yep.
Okay. So here we go. I'm having it give us a rundown of what we're gonna do.
Rules explanation mode. Hunting is a rules-governed action under your framework and cannot be skipped or summarized as you feed. It requires declaring an approach, resolving the hunt roll openly, and then applying the feeding outcome. Hunger reduction, resonance determination, heat implications, time advancement, and any consequences. Step 1. Declare the hunt. For each vampire, tell me, who is hunting? Are they hunting together or separately? Where are they hunting? What is their approach? Examples. Vladimir prowls the local territory looking for a violent criminal to ambush. John enters nearby residential areas looking for a sleeping victim consistent with his Sandman predator type. Both remain inside Coterie territory. Both travel elsewhere. The territory around the Haven is already defined as a mixed residential, industrial waterfront block with working-class residents, night shift laborers, and transients. Step 2. Determine the hunt roll. Once read, I determine the applicable hunting method and difficulty according to the feeding difficulty rules and local conditions. Feeding difficulty depends on district conditions, surveillance, recent incidents, and other pressures. File site turn 4 file, tat turn 4 file 11. Step 3. You roll. Per Yori open rolls. I will tell you. Dice pool, difficulty. You will roll an RTEP 4. Resolve feeding based on the result we then determine.
Why is it
Hunger
doing
slaked, time spent, resonance encountered. Whether
Do you
feeding
see
was
this?
clean,
It's all
risky,
weird.
messy, or failed. Heat or masquerade consequences if applicable. Any resulting scene changes. All feeding rolls are open. Feeding-related rolls are not hidden. So the next thing I need is, what is Vladimir's hunting approach? What is Joe? And are they hunting? Together, separately, or one after the other?
It's like that's a really weird. That's got to be a weird, just like a glitch or something. I can read them myself. I'm a little quicker. Okay, so basically, we're gonna hunt. So we're gonna go hunting now. Both John and Vlad are going to hunt now. All right. Okay, so. Yeah.
Yeah, and I'm gonna do. Yeah, we can. You you don't hunt the same way I do, so.
Yeah. So, just a minute.
But we got our earpieces.
Yeah, and you are an alley cat, right?
Yep.
And I am a sandman. Okay, so yeah. So John and Vlad are going to be hunting separately. I am, and we're all going to follow our predator type. So John Bain is a sandman, and Vladimir Wolfenstein is alley cat predator type. And then we're just going to hunt in our local area around our haven. Yep, there you go. Okay, so... Okay, these are separate feeding actions that will be resolved separately. Time will advance accordingly. Before I do the dice pulls, I need the relevant character sheet values for the hunt pulls. I don't currently have the attribute skill combinations for each hunt method in front of me. So John's... Wait, what now? Give me permission to pull the exact relevant pulls from the character sheets and calculate them from there. See, this is completely different than what we were doing before. What are the pools you need? It's asking us about our stats. But I don't know. Okay, so. Okay, so you need to roll a dexterity and no wait, that's me. I need to roll a dexterity and a stealth, and you have to roll a strength and a brawl.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, all right. So, 8. I got 8.
Yeah.
And we leave our hunger dice intact the way they are right now.
Yes. But I have dexterity and stealth, which is okay. And I have 3 hunger. So I roll
you
3. What's that?
Do you have 3? Do you have 3 hunger or 4? I thought you were up to 4.
Oh, dang it! I do have 4. Oh, dang it! 1 second. Okay, sorry.
I have 3.
You have 3. I know because I was going by yesterday. So let me do that again. And then 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, I've got 3 successes. All right, so John has 3 successes, and then Vlad has 1 success, and it's a bestial failure. Son of a gun. I don't. Let's see. Okay. Okay, here we go. Let's try. I'm gonna try this one more time here, and if this one messes up, I'm gonna read these from now. I'm gonna read them from now on.
Tat, hunt resolution. John Bain, hunt roll, 3 successes. Difficulty 2, result success. Vladimir Wolfenstein, hunt roll, 1 success. Difficulty 2, result failure. Failure type, bestial failure as reported. John Bain. John slips into the neighborhood surrounding the haven. The district is familiar territory. Working class apartments, aging residential buildings, and residents accustomed to unusual schedules and late night arrivals. After some time searching, John locates suitable prey and feeds without immediate complication. Hunger is reduced. John Bain, hunger, 4, 2. The hunt consumes part of the evening but does not otherwise create an immediate problem. Vladimir Wolfenstein. Vladimir's hunt goes differently. The beast is already near the surface from the previous night's exertions, and the hunger carried into night 2. The search does not go as planned. The failure escalates into a bestial failure. Under V5 Raw, the exact consequence of a bestial failure depends on the nature of the action and the beast's reaction. Since the gameplay parameter sheet section governing bestial failure consequences during feeding is not presently before me, and your instructions prohibit me from inventing consequences, I need to determine whether your documents specify a bestial failure outcome table or procedure before I continue narrating the result. At this point, the following is established. Vladimir's hunt failed. The failure was bestial. Vladimir has not yet reduced hunger. The specific consequence remains to be resolved. Current hunger, Vladimir 2, John 2. Before I continue, I need to check whether the gameplay parameter sheet contains a feeding bestial failure procedure that overrides raw. If you'd like, I can look that up.
Okay, 1 second. Why is it like that? Okay, so my hunger is reduced to 2. But why is it doing that? Dang it. I'm telling it what to do now, guys. Okay. All right. So don't worry about it being a bestial failure. We'll deal with that later because I'm pretty sure that it's in the stuff that I did for you. But that's fine. Don't worry about it. So currently, though, tell us how much time has passed, and then we can decide, I guess, whether Vlad wants to do another roll and try again, or what. But basically, after hunting, John goes back to the Haven. And then tell us how much time has passed so we can decide where to go from there. Okay. Okay, so John Hunt concluded first. He returns to the Haven, having successfully fed. The neighborhood outside remains much as it was from the beginning of the evening. Night shift workers moving through the district, occasional traffic along the industrial corridors, and the distant sounds of freight activity elsewhere in Brooklyn. A modest amount of time passes, not hours, not enough to significantly alter the night's opportunities, just enough for a routine hunt to return. When John arrives back at the Haven, Vladimir's unsuccessful hunt remains unresolved. Okay, so do you want to... You can do another roll, but I need... Yeah.
Well, what about the... Can I just use the bag of blood?
You can.
And what would that... Yeah, then that... See what
That'll
that... Yeah, I'll just...
That'll reduce your hunger by 1.
Oh, it only does 1? Okay.
A bag of... Well... You can check... Yeah, let me see... Isn't it 1? Yeah. I thought it was 1.
Yeah, I have one. I have a 1 bag of blood.
Yeah. Yeah, a bag of blood is like one like there's actually, this is actually specifically in the rules. Blood bags are one hunger per blood bag.
Yeah, okay. That's all right. If we come across some canisters, I'm gonna take those because I'm gonna take one of those. I don't give a crap.
All right. Just a second.
All right.
All right. Okay. So I need an actual time. And then Vlad returns to the Haven and uses a blood bag to reduce his hunger by 1. Okay. Okay, so it is now... Alright, excellent. There we go.
Vladimir abandons the hunt and returns to the Haven. Back beneath 327 Ferris Street, he retrieves one of the stored blood bags and feeds from it. is a blood bag to slake hunger, subject to the normal limitations of stored blood. Hunger is reduced. Vladimir Wolfenstein, 2-1, John Bain, 2. The feeding is uneventful. No travel is required. No additional time of significance passes beyond Vladimir's return to the Haven and consumption of the blood bag. Current scene state, time approximately 8:45 p.m., location, Coterie Haven. Present, Vladimir Wolfenstein, John Bain. Hunger, Vladimir 1, John 2. The recovered Greenpoint materials remain spread across the Haven's work area. Routing hierarchy photographs. Transfer schedules. Infrastructure maps. Atlantic Freight Terminal authorization slip. Higher clearance electronic keycard. Folded routing sheet. Railband radio and earpiece. The Haven is quiet. What do you do?
All right. Well, now that we've fed, we should be looking at the. Over all of this stuff to try to get a better picture of what we're doing here.
Yeah, because aren't we supposed to? We have to contact the handler too. Aren't we? Were supposed to do that as soon as we got up.
I don't remember if he said that we have to contact him immediately when we got up, but I know that we contact him
before.
Yeah, well, we'll contact him before we go, but we already told him everything that we found last night, so.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So. Yeah, we'll start looking over this stuff and get a better idea on what's going. Because that's we're looking at the Atlantic Freight Terminal.
Yeah.
Which is 214 Atlantic Avenue.
Maps. Okay, so investigation, right? I mean, that's kind of what it means.
Yeah.
One second. Well, this is an investigation. Okay, so it needs our... Okay, under the fire, the agents should resolve it rather than freeform. What I need to determine is which investigation pool you want. What do you... Before signing rules, I need the investigation procedure. Okay, just a second, guys. Give me about 30 seconds to deal with something real quick with this. Actually, you know what? I think for the first time ever, I'm going to put us to intermission, and I'll be right back, because I'm dealing with this thing. It's giving me some weird answers. We'll be right back. Is that all right with you, Lore Master?
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay, one second. So... Well, I'm going to go to intermission, and I'll see you guys back in just a second. Alright, we fixed that issue, so now okay, so both of us are going to roll a intelligence plus investigation roll to look over the evidence that we have so far. So, I have two... Well, I have 2 hunger. And then investigation is 1, 2, 3. So there we go. All right. So intelligence plus investigation. I got 2 successes. What do you got, Dad?
Well, I have intelligence plus investigation is 3 die total.
Okay, so John.
2 successes.
Okay, I got 2 successes, and then Vlad, 2 successes. Okay, here we go.
John and Vladimir spend time at the work table, spreading out the photographs, schedules, routing documents, authorization paperwork, and infrastructure maps recovered over the course of the investigation. Neither analysis produces a dramatic breakthrough, but together the evidence begins to reinforce a pattern. The South Brooklyn warehouse was not operating independently. Greenpoint was not operating independently. The Canarsie Spur transfer was not operating independently. Every document recovered points toward a structured logistics hierarchy, rather than a collection of disconnected sites. The routing sheets, transfer schedules, and hierarchy documentation consistently place facilities into tiers with responsibilities divided between collection, consolidation, routing, and distribution. The strongest conclusion you can confidently draw from the available evidence is this: Atlantic Freight Terminal occupies a higher position in the network than any facility the coterie has yet encountered. That does not prove it is Marrow Central, but nothing you've recovered places any discovered facility above it. The authorization recovered from Greenpoint and the handler's immediate reaction both support the conclusion that Atlantic Freight Terminal is strategically important. You also come something else. The network appears designed around compartmentalization. Workers at one site know their site. Distribution nodes know their routes. Consolidation nodes know more. Authority appears to become more centralized as you move upward through the hierarchy. That means information about Marrow Central itself may only exist at the highest levels of the structure. After reviewing the evidence, no additional actionable location is revealed beyond what you already possess. Current known lead remains Atlantic Freight Terminal, 214 Atlantic Avenue. Current time is approximately 9:15 p.m. John and Vladimir are both back at the Haven. The evidence has been reviewed. No new immediate lead has emerged from the paperwork alone. What do you do?
All right. I think that it's time for us. We can let our handler know and get ready to go out to the Atlantic Freight Terminal.
Yeah, that's what I think we should do.
All right. All right, so John is going to call our handler and let him know that we reviewed everything that we collected yesterday, and that it's all pointing us towards it's all pointing us towards the Atlantic Freight Terminal, and we're going to get ready to go there, and then we're going to give him any of the other information that we've found, okay? There we go.
John places the call. The line rings once, twice, then connects. The handler answers, John. The tone is calm, alert, waiting. John briefs him on the review of the recovered intelligence, the Greenpoint photographs, the routing hierarchy, the schedules, the infrastructure maps, the authorization slip, the conclusion that everything recovered continues to point toward Atlantic Freight Terminal as the next logical step in the investigation. He also provides any additional observations drawn from the review of the evidence. The handler listens without interruption. Several moments pass after John finishes. Finally, so nothing in the paperwork changed your assessment. Not a question. A statement. A pause. Then, and you're telling me the evidence still funnels back to Atlantic. Another pause. When he speaks again, his voice is measured. Good. That means you're reading it correctly. The sound of papers shifting can be heard faintly over the line. Tell me exactly what you recovered from Greenpoint. The handler begins asking questions. Not broad ones. Specific ones. He wants details regarding the routing hierarchy photographs, the Sigma consolidation designation, the transfer schedules, the infrastructure maps, the authorization recovered for Atlantic Freight Terminal, any references to Mero Central, any indicators of chain of command structure, any signs that Greenpoint personnel were aware of higher authority involvement. He appears particularly interested in the recovered documentation itself rather than the coteries' conclusions. The conversation continues. What information does John provide in response?
Okay, so yeah, I give him all of the information that we've recovered. Okay.
John provides everything: the photographs, the schedules, the routing hierarchy documentation, the infrastructure maps, the authorization slip, the references to Mero Central, the Sigma consolidation designation, the observed hierarchy between South Brooklyn, Greenpoint, and Atlantic Freight Terminal. The handler remains silent for much of the briefing. Occasionally, he asks for a clarification, a location on a map, a code appearing on a routing sheet, and the exact wording of a designation, the order in which facilities appeared within a hierarchy. Once the information has been fully relayed, the line goes quiet for several seconds. When he finally speaks again, his tone has changed. Not alarmed, focused. All right, more papers shifting. You've done enough field work for the moment. Another pause. Do not move on Atlantic until I see what you've got. The statement is firm, not a suggestion, an instruction. You have copies of the material? He waits for confirmation. Good. Another brief silence. When can you get to me? The question hangs there. Current time remains approximately 9:15 p.m. John is on the phone. Vladimir is present in the Haven. The handler is requesting a meeting to review the recovered intelligence before any move is made toward Atlantic Freight Terminal.
Just give me a time and we can bring it to you now or before we go to the terminal itself. Not a time, give me a place, excuse me. So I tell him, give me a place where you want me to drop it off or meet you or whatever, and we can come see you now before we move on the terminal.
Yeah, because we still have Malik, so.
Yeah. Oh yeah, we did this before. Here we go.
There's a brief pause on the line. Then, not over the phone. The handler thinks for a moment. Bring it to the intake site. Another pause. You've both been there. The location is familiar. the same intake facility where the recovered HLD canister was delivered following the Canarsie Spur operation. Bring copies of everything. Photographs, notes, maps, schedules, anything you pulled from Greenpoint. His tone remains even. And don't leave originals anywhere you can't get them back. A few seconds pass. I'll meet you there. The call is clearly nearing its end. Once I've seen the material, we'll talk about Atlantic. The line goes quiet. Then, anything else before you head out? Current time, approximately 9:15 p.m. The handler is directing John and Vladimir to travel to the same intake facility previously used to transfer the recovered HLD canister for analysis. The call remains connected, awaiting a response.
Anything else you want me to tell him?
No, that's enough. I'm tired of talking to this guy.
Okay. All right, we'll meet you there and bring copies of everything that we have.
Toy.
Good. The handler does not sound surprised. If anything changes before you leave, call. A brief pause. And John, the line remains quiet for a moment. Don't treat Atlantic like the other sites. Nothing further is added. No explanation, no elaboration, just the warning. Then I'll see you when you get here. The call disconnects. The Haven falls quiet again. The evidence is already organized from the review. Making copies and gathering the recovered materials for transport will take only a short time. The route to the intake site is familiar. Current time, approximately 9:15 p.m. John and Vladimir remain in the Haven with the recovered intelligence and a standing invitation to meet the handler before proceeding toward Atlantic Freight Terminal. What do you do?
All right, so the originals we're gonna keep. We have to keep. So we need to make copies. So let me radio Malik and have him meet us so we can make copies of this crap on the way to the intake.
All right. All right, excellent, cool.
Because it's not like we have a bat cave.
You're right. Vlad calls Malik to come pick us up. We're gonna bring all of the evidence and everything with us. We're gonna go to make copies of it, probably at some local print place or something, and then we're going to bring we're gonna leave the originals in the trunk while we bring the copies and travel to the drop-off location, and we'll have the copies to bring with us and meet the handler. Here we go.
Vladimir places the call to Malik. The request is simple. Come to the Haven. Bring transportation. The recovered materials need to be moved. While waiting, John and Vladimir begin organizing the evidence. Photographs are sorted into groups. Schedules are separated from maps. Routing documents are collected together. The authorization slip, keycard information, and supporting materials are gathered for duplication. Once Malik arrives, the three of you head out. The trip to a late-night copy and print location is uneventful. The originals remain secured. Copies are produced. The copied packet contains the recovered intelligence intended for the handler's review, while the originals are retained separately and secured in the vehicle. The process takes some time. By the time the copies are complete and everyone is back on the road, the clock has advanced. Current time, approximately 10:05 p.m. The originals are secured in the trunk. The copies are with John and Vladimir. Malik is driving. The coterie is now en route to the intake site designated by the handler. No immediate complications present themselves during the drive. After some time, the vehicle approaches the neighborhood containing the intake site previously used during the HLD canister transfer. Current time, approximately 10:30 p.m. The destination is approaching. What do you do?
All right, what's up?
Oh, I'm just making note.
Oh, okay. No, well, we're gonna get there and get out, and when we arrive, we will. I'll shoot I'll shoot a text over to the handler and tell him that we're arrived. Because last time we were here, we didn't. We didn't actually go inside. There wasn't anybody here. We just left it like a dead drop.
Yeah.
Whew. All right.
The vehicle pulls into the area surrounding the intake site. The location is much as you remember it from the previous night: industrial, quiet, functional. At this hour, most of the surrounding activity consists of freight traffic, warehouse operations, and the occasional vehicle moving through the district. Malik parks nearby. The originals remain secured in the trunk. John and Vladimir retain the copied packet intended for the handler. Rather than approaching immediately, John sends a text. "We've arrived." The message is delivered. A minute passes. Then another. The reply arrives. "Stay where you are. Coming to you." No further explanation. No instructions to enter. No request for a specific meeting point. Just the message. Stay where you are. The three of you remain in the parked vehicle overlooking the intake site. A few minutes later, headlights appear at the far end of the street. A dark sedan turns the corner and begins making its way toward your position. Current time, approximately 10:35 p.m. The sedan continues its approach.
All right, well then we'll wait until it gets here.
The three of you wait. The sedan continues down the street at a controlled pace before pulling to the curb a short distance from Malik's vehicle. The engine remains running for a few moments, then shuts off. No one immediately exits. A few seconds pass, then the driver's door opens. A familiar figure steps out and closes the door behind him. The handler. He scans the street once, checks the surrounding buildings, then walks toward your vehicle. There is no obvious security detail. No visible escort, no greeting until he reaches conversational distance. When he arrives, his attention immediately shifts to the packet in John's possession. "You brought it?" The question is directed at John. The handler extends a hand, ready to receive the copied materials. The intake site looms quietly in the background, while freight activity continues elsewhere in the district. Current time, approximately 10:35 p.m. The handler takes the packet. He does not immediately open it. Instead, he flips through the pages once, checking volume rather than content. Satisfied that everything appears to be there, he tucks the packet beneath one arm. Good. Then he looks toward the intake facility, back toward the street, and finally toward John and Vladimir. "Walk with me." Without waiting for a response, he turns and begins moving toward a darker section of the block away from the road and the occasional passing vehicle. Once the three of you are out of immediate earshot of traffic, he stops. Only then does he begin reviewing the material. Several minutes pass. Pages turn. Maps unfold. Schedules are examined. Photographs receive longer attention than anything else. More than once, he returns to a page he has already reviewed. The night remains quiet around you. Finally, he lowers the packet. The expression on his face is difficult to read. But one thing is immediately clear. He has found something significant. He taps a section of the recovered material. "Tell me exactly how you got this." His finger remains on the page. The question is not hostile, but it is precise. And it is the first thing he has asked since beginning his review. Current time, approximately 10:45 p.m.
So...
Okay, what the hell is he pointing at?
Yeah, that's actually a good point. Out of narrative here, can we tell what the actual piece of information is that he's pointing at? Yeah, basically that's actually the question. Probably it's I don't know. Let's see. From a storytelling perspective... should know what the piece of evidence is. The information should come from the story online. The cover document is actually noteworthy, but the better approach would have been okay. So, no, you okay? Okay, so no, you can't tell because I haven't actually identified a piece of evidence. Moment and identify. Wait 1 second. Before I continue with the camera, I should consult the campaign material to determine whether there's a specific document code. I don't want to invent a clue that isn't actually supported by the campaign, so I prefer to pause. Moment. Okay, we'll do what you need. So I prefer to pause that moment and identify what he's reacting to. Okay. Do that then.
Yeah, I was gonna say because the majority of everything we picked up that would be of importance, we got at the green point. So that's where we remember the guy got face bashed in the computer.
Okay.
We took it from the control booth.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I'll say this here. So here, so John says to the handler, so we went to 3 different sites yesterday. We only killed 1 person during the entire investigation. 1 person was injured. The guy that killed, we made sure it looked like an accident. We wiped the minds of everybody else, so nobody knows that there shouldn't be any masquerade problems. No, basically nobody should know that they even got hit. The rest of it we stole from a what was it, Greenpoint Terminal?
Yeah, Greenpoint. Yeah, it was up in the control booth above the main floor.
Yeah, the rest of it we stole. We snuck into a Greenpoint Terminal. They had a control booth there with a lot of people there, but we were able to get in unnoticed and get the rest of the evidence from there. Nobody saw. No one saw us. Anybody that can remember us, because we either wiped their minds or they just didn't see us. Okay.
The handler listens without interrupting. He already has much of the outline from earlier reports, but this time he lets John walk through it from beginning to end. The warehouse, the spur, South Brooklyn, Greenpoint, the memory alterations, the staged accident, the falsified logs, the deleted surveillance, the sabotaged processing line, the lack of confirmed detection. When John finishes, the handler remains quiet for several seconds. Finally, I'm not worried about the masquerade. His answer comes immediately. No hesitation. No, that's not what's bothering me. He taps the packet lightly. The problem isn't whether they know you were there. Another pause. The problem is figuring out what they know happened. He folds the packet closed. You hit a distribution node, then a consolidation node. You interrupted an escalation process. You severed a node from the network. You manipulated their records. And now we're sitting here hoping their internal systems accepted the explanation. The handler looks from John to Vladimir. I'm not saying they know about you. I'm saying we don't know what conclusions they reached. A freight train can be heard somewhere in the distance. The handler waits until the noise fades. Then tell me something. When that worker triggered the handoff sequence in South Brooklyn, he looks directly at John. How much of it completed before you cut it off? The question hangs in the air.
So that didn't, like, I don't know how much of it specifically finished, but we made it look like an accident. So that's what I'm gonna tell him. Right? That sounds good to you?
Yeah, he's asking. Oh, what was the question again?
So this was when there was an alert at the computer system, and you hacked into the computer system.
Right, and we did the overload.
Yeah, and we made it look like there was a system failure that caused the problem, so that to hide our tracks.
Yeah.
So
And
we
it
should be
was-
good. Yeah.
Yeah, it was probably 10, 15 minutes at the most before we were able to get in and crack it.
Yeah. Okay. Well, so I don't know specifically how much of the. I don't remember how much of the thing completed, but Vlad was able to break into the computer system and make it look like some kind of system overload, and then we sabotaged some of the areas so that way it looked like that was the reason why that they should not have any knowledge that there was an actual problem there. We wiped the workers' minds. It looked basically it looked like an industrial accident. That's what killed the worker. That's what messed up the computer system, and that's why there was a warning signal sent off. But it doesn't seem like anyone was alerted to anything as far as knowing that someone actually broke in. Okay, here we go.
The handler nods slowly. Maybe. He doesn't sound convinced, but he doesn't dismiss the possibility either. You did good work. The statement comes without hesitation. You found the network. You climbed it. You got farther than most people would have. He taps the packet again. But this, he lifts the copied authorization. This isn't a warehouse. This isn't a consolidation node. And it isn't a local operation. For a moment, he studies the papers in his hand, then looks back at John. The concern isn't whether they know somebody walked through Greenpoint. The concern is whether the people above Greenpoint already knew something was wrong before Greenpoint ever got touched. A brief pause. The handoff system bothers me. The escalation system bothers me. And the fact that every layer you've uncovered seems designed to report upward bothers me. He slips the packet into a satchel. Maybe the fault story held. Maybe it didn't. Right now, we don't know. The handler's gaze drifts briefly toward the intake facility, then back to the two of you, which means we proceed under the assumption that Atlantic is still clean. Another pause. But we don't proceed under the assumption that Atlantic is blind. The distinction is deliberate. The night air is cool. A truck passes somewhere nearby. The handler folds his arms. So, before anybody starts casing Atlantic, what exactly are you hoping to learn when you get there?
I mean, well...
Good.
So, with the way that things look right now, it's sort of looking like every place that we've... Oh, go on.
Well, I was going to say, yeah, every place that we've hit is higher up in the command structure. So what we're hoping for is to get some more information on where's the next place even above Atlantic, because we know that it's not Marrow. Marrow is a current Marrow. It's part of it, but we're trying to piece it together to try to get to basically we want to get to the top of the food chain to find out who's ultimately in control and blah blah blah.
So
Does
Vlad
that sound
said,
about right?
Yeah, I mean, I agree. What's that? Vlad says to the handler that basically every place that we've looked is higher up on the hierarchy of whatever this blood distribution system is. And so if we go to Atlantic and check out that place, we're hoping that we can find the next chain in the chain of command, or whatever you'd call it here, so that way we can eventually reach a point where we're getting the information we need to tie everything together and figure out who controls the system and how and exactly to what extent it operates. I hope that I just summarized everything you said properly.
Yeah, basically that's it. We're climbing the food chain.
The handler listens. This time, he does not interrupt. When Vladimir finishes, he gives a small nod. That's the right question. Not approval. Assessment. You don't need another warehouse. You don't need another shipment. You don't need another pallet full of blood. His eyes move briefly to the packet. You need whoever sits above the system. A few moments pass, or at least the people who know who sits above the system. The distinction appears important to him. He looks toward Atlantic's direction as though considering something. Then, everything you've found so far suggests hierarchy. Collection, distribution, consolidation, escalation, authorization, chain of command. He turns back toward the two of you. So the question isn't whether Atlantic matters. It does. The question is whether Atlantic is another step, a pause, or whether Atlantic is where the staircase ends. The handler lets that sit for a moment, then asks, what are you planning to do when you get there? Reconnaissance, infiltration, observation, access control systems, follow personnel, something else? His tone is neutral, not directing, evaluating. Current time, approximately 10:45 p.m. The handler is waiting for your operational plan regarding Atlantic Freight Terminal.
I mean, I guess you and I haven't talked about this. I mean, I know that we can... I can basically turn invisible to observe.
Yeah, and if it comes down, what we're doing is observation and infiltration, and might be a little bit of interrogation to try to...
Yeah.
I mean, subtle interrogation. We're going to avoid any kind of armed conflict to the best of our ability and everything else like that. We're gonna be protect the masquerade, and through subterfuge or something like that, we're gonna try to stealthily gain as much information as we can without having to resort to any kind of violence and everything else to draw more unwanted attention. And I'll be blanking some minds too, so we don't have to. It won't be that issue. We won't have to worry about the camera and stuff like that. We'll take care of all that with observation and infiltration.
Yeah. All right. Vlad says, our goal is infiltration and observation with the possibility of some light interrogation. We're trying to avoid any armed conflict and everything, but get as much information as we can. As far as security systems or cameras, we can take care of that. And then if there's any, we need to, I can use my abilities to wipe the minds of anybody. And so we don't have to worrying about being discovered or tampering and stuff like that. But conflict is information gathering is the objective, with conflict being, we're trying to avoid that as much as possible. Alright. Alright. Here we go.
The handler considers that for several seconds, then nods once. Good. No hesitation. No criticism. That's the first sensible thing I've heard about Atlantic. He shifts his weight slightly. Observation first. Infiltration second. Questions third. The order sounds intentional. If Atlantic is what I think it is, information is worth more than a body count. A freight horn echoes faintly somewhere across the industrial district. The handler continues. You've gotten this far because you've stayed ahead of the situation. You observed before you acted. You learned before you committed. Keep doing that. His eyes settle on Vladimir. And don't fall in love with your own tradecraft. The statement is directed specifically at him. Memory alteration is a cleanup tool, not a substitute for staying invisible. A brief pause. Every time you use it, you're accepting risk. Then he looks between both vampires. As far as Atlantic goes, he stops, thinking, choosing his words carefully. When he speaks again, his tone is firmer. If you arrive and discover Atlantic is just another node, keep climbing. If you arrive and discover Atlantic sits at the top of the structure, do not improvise. The handler's gaze remains steady. Call me. No ambiguity, no caveat, just an instruction. The packet disappears fully into his satchel. I'll start working through this material tonight. If I find something useful, you'll hear from me. The meeting appears to be drawing to a close. Current time, approximately 10:50 p.m. The handler has accepted the copied intelligence and appears prepared to depart. The next declared objective remains Atlantic Freight Terminal.
All right, well then I guess let's head over to Atlantic Freight Terminal.
Yep.
All right, so we go back to the car with Malik and have him head towards Atlantic Freight Terminal. And when we get there, we'll park a little bit ways off and try to observe and see what we can see. All right, here we go. Just a second. I'm not sure.
The handler nods once. Call if the situation changes. Then he returns to his sedan, and departs. John, Vladimir, and Malik return to their vehicle. The copied evidence is gone. The originals remain secured. Malik starts the engine and pulls away from the curb. The drive toward Atlantic Freight Terminal is quiet. The industrial districts of Brooklyn slide past outside the windows. Warehouses, freight yards, loading facilities, rail infrastructure. The same veins through which the Marrow network has been operating. Time passes. Approximately 11:15 p.m., Malik slows the vehicle. Ahead, the area surrounding Atlantic Freight Terminal, 214 Atlantic Avenue, comes into view. Per your declared approach, he does not drive directly onto the property. Instead, he parks some distance away where the vehicle can remain unobtrusive. The engine is shut off. The three of you now have line-of-sight access to the surrounding area, but have not yet approached the facility itself.
Okay, so, one second. Okay, well, set the scene. Tell us what we can see. Is there any movement? Lights? I don't know. Tell us what we can see from where we are.
From your current position, you are not yet conducting a detailed surveillance operation. This is simply what is immediately visible from the parked vehicle. Atlantic Freight Terminal occupies a significantly larger footprint than the facilities you've encountered so far. Not a warehouse, not an annex, not a maintenance structure, a terminal. The facility dominates a substantial section of the surrounding industrial district. Multiple large structures are visible beyond perimeter fencing. Vehicle access points can be seen from this distance. Freight infrastructure is present. The location appears active. Not bustling, but active. Exterior lighting illuminates portions of the grounds. Security lighting is present in multiple locations. Several buildings remain lit internally. Commercial vehicles can occasionally be seen moving within the perimeter. Nothing appears abandoned. Nothing appears dark. Nothing immediately suggests a site suffering from the kind of disruption inflicted on South Brooklyn. Traffic in the surrounding streets remains relatively light at this hour. A handful of civilian vehicles pass periodically. Occasional freight traffic moves through the district. The terminal itself shows visible signs of ongoing nighttime operation. What you cannot determine from this distance: number of personnel, security staffing, camera placement, internal layout, access control measures, which building is operationally important, whether rail infrastructure is active tonight, whether anything unusual is occurring. Those details would require actual surveillance. Current conditions: time, approximately 11:15 p.m. Weather, clear visibility. Vehicle parked off-site. No indication that your vehicle has been noticed. No immediate threat visible. Atlantic Freight Terminal appears operational for. At this point, if you want actionable intelligence, somebody needs to begin a proper observation of the facility.
All right, how do you want to do it?
Right. Well, that's what we're gonna need to do. We're gonna have to move up on. Well, we'll get out of the vehicle. Have Malik will try to give us a roundabout surveillance of the whatever he can see and keep in contact with us on the radio. And let's go up and we're gonna have to take a closer look to see what we can see for security, possible access points, what looks like. We're looking for something that's more important. We're looking for some place that has supervisory capabilities, I guess, not just mundane everyday workers.
Mm-hmm. Well, are you wanting to go around the block first, or are you wanting to go and get out of the vehicle now and go look and have Malik driving and trying to be kind of like a perimeter?
Yeah, I want us get out of the vehicle. We'll approach. We don't even have to approach together, but just try to get as close as we can so we can properly survey as best we can what's going on, that kind of thing. And then Malik can drive around the perimeter of it and radio us with anything that might seem important that he notices.
Yeah. All right. All right. So here's what we'll do. Okay. So John and Vlad are gonna exit the vehicle. Malik is going to drive around the perimeter and let us know through our radio, our earpiece radios, whether or not if he sees anything that we need to look into or whatever. But then otherwise, we're going to try to inconspicuously, in stealth, approach the facility a little bit better, get a little closer, and see how much we can see. Yeah.
Yep.
Here we go.
John and Vladimir exit the vehicle. Malik remains behind the wheel. The plan is straightforward. Malik conducts a slow perimeter drive and reports anything noteworthy over the radio. John and Vladimir approach on foot. Observation remains the priority. No entry attempt has been declared. No contact attempt has been declared. Malik acknowledges over the radio and pulls away to begin circling the surrounding streets. John and Vladimir move through the industrial district toward the terminal. The area is not deserted. There are enough legitimate nighttime operations in the vicinity that two pedestrians do not immediately stand out. Warehouses, loading facilities, freight traffic. Industrial noise, distant engines, metal impacts, the smell of diesel and waterfront air. As you close the distance, the terminal grows increasingly imposing. The perimeter fencing becomes clearer. The vehicle entrances become more distinct. Exterior lighting creates pools of visibility across portions of the grounds while leaving other areas in deeper shadow. Several structures occupy the property. At least some remain active. You can see lights in multiple locations. You can also see movement, not enough to identify individuals, but enough to confirm personnel are present. The facility is operating tonight. This is now a deliberate surveillance approach. Both of you are attempting to gather information while remaining unobtrusive. Roll your observation pools and report the results. If using normal V5 observation, intelligence plus awareness for systematic surveillance. Wits plus awareness if you're reacting to activity and looking for things that stand out. Tell me which approach each character is using, then roll and report the successes.
Well, which one is better? Let's see. I have, excuse me. I have better wits and awareness than I do intelligence and awareness.
Well, mine are both exactly the same, so.
Oh, okay.
But,
well. All right. All right. Well,
I'll do the standard, and then you do the one that's best for you.
Okay.
And then I'm gonna use the intelligence plus awareness, so that it pay attention to, like, oh, camera here, there, whatever. What's gonna be our best avenue of approach? Whereas with wit, you would see, hey, these people, okay, kind of looks like this is the route they might be following. Gives us an opening, that kind of thing.
Okay.
So I'm gonna. Because the first one was intelligence plus awareness, wasn't it?
Yes.
That's what you said?
Yeah, for systematic surveillance is what it's saying.
Yeah, I'll do systematic, and then you can do the other one.
Okay. And then John is wits plus awareness. Okay. And then I have wits plus awareness is... What is my hunger? My hunger now is 2.
Same as mine.
And then 3. There you go. Alright, so there's my wits plus awareness roll. I got 2 successes.
Yeah. Mine's set here.
Oh, okay.
2 successes.
So for an observation, that a bestial failure shouldn't be the thing anyway. Shouldn't matter anyway.
Right.
Let me see. Wait, what was it now? We both got 2 successes? Okay. John.
Yep.
2 successes. And then Vlad. 2 successes. Okay, here we go. Just a second, guys. Sorry, my wife had to come ask me a question. Okay, here we go.
John and Vladimir continue their approach. Neither of you rushes. Neither of you attempts entry. You spend several minutes simply watching, learning, letting the facility reveal itself. The first thing that becomes apparent is scale. Everything you've encountered so far has felt like a component, a warehouse, a transfer point, a consolidation node. Atlantic feels different. The traffic pattern alone suggests a significantly larger operation. Vehicles enter, vehicles leave. Operations continue. The site is active in multiple areas simultaneously. John's attention is drawn to movement. Personnel? Not many, not few. Enough to indicate a functioning night operation. Workers appear to move with purpose rather than the casual pace common at ordinary warehouses. Several individuals pass through access-controlled areas rather than remaining confined to loading zones. The site appears organized, disciplined. Vladimir focuses on structure. The facility does not appear to be centered around a single building. Instead, multiple structures appear to serve different functions. The terminal resembles a hub rather than a warehouse. From what can be seen externally, operations seem distributed across the property rather than concentrated in one obvious location. After several minutes, Malik's voice crackles quietly through the radio. Got something. A brief pause. North side. Another pause. Looks like rail access. The observation immediately catches your attention. Rail infrastructure has been a constant element of the Marrow network thus far. Malik continues. Can't see much from the road, but there's definitely rail coming into the property. The transmission ends. From your current position, you have identified active nighttime operations, multiple operational buildings, controlled access movement by personnel, rail infrastructure connected directly to the terminal property, no obvious signs that the facility is on alert, no visible indication that your presence has been detected. Current time, approximately 11:30 p.m. You remain outside the perimeter. The next step is yours. Continue long-range observation. Circle the perimeter on foot. Move closer to inspect fencing, access points, and security. Attempt infiltration. Reposition toward the rail side identified by Malik. Something else.
Okay. So, since we've been dealing with rail the majority of all the time, if we can't really make out a centralized office place, maybe the rail facility might have something more of importance, not like the storages and all that other stuff.
Yeah, because this seems like a big facility that might be handling more stuff than what we're here to deal with anyway. So.
Yeah. So we'll have to move closer, inspect for. We need to find a way in so we can get. I would prefer to go to wherever the rail comes into.
Mm-hmm.
Check there for offices and stuff like that, to where we might be able to find some information.
Some paperwork, yeah. Okay. So we are going to, like, John and Vladimir are going to stealthily move towards that area that Malik pointed out, and then we're going to be watching for any type of entrance into the facility as far as through this fence.
And yeah, watch for security cameras, better approaches to whatever building the rail comes into as we're approaching and stuff.
Say hi, Grandpa.
Hello.
Hi, Grandma.
Grandpa.
Grandpa.
That's Grandpa Brian.
Hi, Grandpa Brian.
Hello.
My daughter just came to say hi, everyone, and I love her more than I love you, so she can interrupt the stream if she wants. Okay. Grandpa Brian and I are going to finish playing our game, okay? Can you see her?
Yeah, I can see her.
Yeah, he can see you. Show him your pretty dress. That's a new dress.
Oh, okay. Yeah, pretty dress.
So, you guys can't see my daughter right now, but we're not on camera. But all right, Maria, you gotta go so I can finish, okay? All right, I love you. Bye-bye. Okay. Okay, so any type of entrance or the fence, we will also be watching for security and cameras. Okay, there you go. Okay. Here we go.
John and Vladimir begin moving toward the northern portion of the terminal property identified by Malik. The approach is slow, measured. You use the surrounding industrial terrain, parked vehicles, fencing lines, loading infrastructure, and shadows created by the terminal's own lighting to avoid drawing attention. Several minutes pass as you work your way around the perimeter. The rail infrastructure becomes increasingly obvious. Multiple tracks feed into the terminal grounds from the north side. Unlike the spur structure or Greenpoint Annex, this section appears designed for sustained freight movement rather than occasional transfers. The fencing continues around the property. As you get closer, both of you begin looking specifically for ingress points, surveillance coverage, and security presence. This is a closer reconnaissance action. Roll. John, wits plus awareness. Vladimir, intelligence plus awareness, report the results.
Alright, wits plus awareness, intelligence plus awareness. Okay, awareness, I got 5, plus I got 2 hunger. Okay. Got 5, 2 hunger. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. No, 1, 2, 3. Oh, look at that. 4 successes. Oh, okay.
And I got 1.
Jesus, I think that something is wrong with you. The gods of Vampire the Masquerade do not like you.
Yeah, I know.
It's interesting gameplay, though. See, John rolls 4 successes. Vlad, 1 success. One second. Okay, sorry. Here we go.
John and Vladimir continue along the perimeter toward the rail side of the terminal. The fence line here is different from what you've encountered at the previous Marrow-linked sites. More substantial, designed for an active freight facility rather than a simple warehouse. The rail corridor feeds directly into the property through controlled access points integrated into the perimeter. John's attention catches several important details. First, surveillance. Cameras are present, not hidden, not improvised. Purpose-built coverage. You identify overlapping fields of view covering portions of the rail approach, vehicle access routes, and fence-adjacent areas. There are still blind spots, as there almost always are, but the coverage appears more deliberate than what you encountered at South Brooklyn or Greenpoint. Second, security movement. Not guards patrolling with obvious tactical posture, but personnel who appear to be performing rounds or inspections around portions of the rail infrastructure and access control areas. Whether they are dedicated security or terminal personnel is unclear from this distance. Third, and most importantly, John identifies at least one area along the northern perimeter where the fencing transitions around rail access infrastructure in a way that appears less straightforward than the rest of the fence line. Not an open entrance, not a breach, but a location worth closer examination if entry becomes necessary. Vladimir's observations generally reinforce what John is seeing. The facility appears operational, organized, maintained. Nothing about it suggests neglect or abandonment. No obvious signs indicate that the terminal is currently on heightened alert. No alarms, no emergency activity, no visible response posture. Current time is approximately 11:40 p.m. John and Vladimir remain outside the perimeter near the northern rail approach, observing the terminal and its security measures. What do you do?
What do you
Well,
want to
let's
do?
check out
What's
that.
the play?
Well, let's check out that section. That obviously looks different, and
Okay.
see if we can see about gaining entry so that we can try to approach the building, anticipating us whoever's doing their checks, that kind of thing, so that we can see if there's a way into the building, even not through the front doors or anything else. I'm not doing a rowing.
Yeah.
We have to see if we can find some way, possibly some entry to the building, not through the obvious front doors, so to speak.
All right.
So we'll check that section of fencing.
Okay.
See what the approach looks like from there.
Okay, 1 second. So we're going to see what the approach options look like from that area of fencing that looks different according to what John saw. All right, here we go.
Moving from your current observation position to a specific point along the perimeter while attempting to remain unnoticed is a stealth action. Roll, dexterity, stealth. Vladimir, dexterity, stealth. Report the results. Once I have them, I'll resolve whether you reach the location unnoticed and what you discover about the unusual section of fencing and the nearby rail access infrastructure.
See if I can get this to frickin' roll right.
Oh wow, I did all right. No, that was good. Yeah,
Oh my
that's-
god.
What?
You have 10?
No. 6. I have 8. Okay, but I had two criticals, so I had a critical win.
Oh, yeah. That's right. Alright, yep. And I had 4 out of my 6.
Yeah, okay. Yeah. So I got 6 successes, you got 4. 4 successes. John 6. And then we can go for a couple more minutes here. But we're coming up on time.
Yeah.
Vlad 4 successes.
Yeah, we'll make note of whatever we see and stuff, and then we can...
Sure,
We'll
okay.
hiatus right here before we worry about figuring out how to get into the building and stuff based on whatever she gives us.
Yeah. All right. Here we go.
John and Vladimir wait for the right moment. A vehicle passes. A worker disappears around a structure deeper inside the terminal. The camera sweep completes its cycle. Then both of you move, quickly, quietly, without drawing attention. The approach is clean. No shouted warning, no flashlight beam, no indication that either of you has been noticed. The section John identified comes into view. Up close, the difference becomes clearer. This is not a breach, nor is it a personnel entrance. The fencing changes where the rail infrastructure passes through the perimeter. Heavy freight access requires additional structures beyond a simple chain link barrier. The result is a more complicated transition zone between the exterior tracks and the interior terminal grounds. Rail control equipment, service access infrastructure, maintenance clearances, security barriers. The arrangement creates more physical complexity than the rest of the perimeter, and complexity creates opportunities. From your current position, it appears that a person determined to enter the property covertly would likely have a better chance here than at the vehicle gates or the more exposed sections of fence. While studying the area, another detail becomes apparent. Activity on the rail side is lower than activity near the main terminal operations. Not abandoned, not empty, but quieter. Fewer visible personnel, less vehicle movement, less attention. The operational focus of the facility appears concentrated elsewhere. The terminal continues functioning around you. Distant machinery, occasional radio chatter carried on the night air, the low rumble of freight operations. No one appears aware of your presence. Current time is approximately 11:45 p.m. John and Vladimir are concealed near the northern rail access perimeter, close enough to begin evaluating a possible covert entry route. What do you do?
All right. Well, I guess we can scan around the area and then call it quits for the day. So, is that what you want to do?
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. So Vlad and John are gonna kind of scan and inspect the area around us, try to find a good path or hidden way to get into the building here where the rail, everything is being connected, and yeah, just try to figure out where we're gonna go from here. So that should probably be the intelligence and investigation intelligence and awareness, and then also the wits and awareness, and for us for rolls.
John and Vladimir settle into concealed positions near the rail access section and begin a more deliberate examination of the area. You're not just looking for movement now, you're looking for structure. Routes, maintenance access, blind spots, ways the facility connects to itself, ways people move through it, ways people don't move through it. That is an investigation and observation action. Roll. Intelligence plus awareness. Wits plus awareness. Report the results, and I'll resolve what you discover about the rail side approach and any potential ingress routes.
All right.
5.
Here we go. So I've got.
5.
So you're 5 too, and I'm also 5. Let me see. 5. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2. 3 successes. There you go. 2 successes. Okay, we've got 3. See, why does yours say total failure? It doesn't make any sense.
I have no idea.
I don't know why it's alchemy says total failure on it. I don't know why. Huh. That's interesting. I'll have to figure that out about alchemy. But anyway, Vlad is 3 and John is 2. Okay, Vlad. Lord. Okay, here we go.
John and Vladimir remain concealed near the northern rail approach. Several minutes pass. Neither of you is rushing. The terminal continues operating around you while you study the patterns, the infrastructure, the movement, the spaces between the movement. Vladimir begins identifying how the rail side operations actually function. The perimeter here is not designed around keeping people out. It is designed around controlling freight flow. That distinction matters. The fence, barriers, and access controls are built to accommodate regular rail movement, maintenance activity, and service access. As a result, there are operational pathways that simply do not exist around the vehicle entrances. Not open routes, not unsecured routes, but routes. The sort of places where personnel occasionally need legitimate access. John focuses on traffic, not vehicle traffic, people. After watching the area long enough, he notices that personnel movement near the rail side is intermittent rather than constant. Workers appear, perform tasks, disappear again. Long periods pass with very little activity. This side of the terminal does not appear to be the center of operations. Together, your observations begin to form a clearer picture. The rail side appears to be one of the least observed sections of the perimeter, not because it lacks security, because the terminal's operational focus appears directed elsewhere. The result is that personnel density is lower here than around the more active portions of the facility. As you continue watching, another detail becomes apparent. Several structures are visible deeper within the terminal grounds. One of them appears functionally connected to the rail infrastructure itself. You cannot yet determine its exact purpose, but based on location, traffic patterns, and proximity to the tracks, it appears more relevant to incoming rail operations than many of the other visible buildings. No indication of detection appears, no alarm, no spotlight, no personnel moving toward your position. Current time is approximately 11:55 p.m. John and Vladimir have identified what appears to be the most promising area for covert entry and have isolated at least one rail-associated structure deeper inside the terminal that may warrant closer examination. What do you do?
All right, let me, I'm going to turn us off here 1 second. Okay, so we're going to end the session here. So can we calculate for experience points? Yeah, let's just calculate for experience points first, please, as we end the session here. 1 second. Do. Just a minute. Okay, so it's 2 experience points. So you get 2 XP, and yeah, that's it. How much? Okay, so how much total XP have you had so far now?
Well, now with these 2, I have 4 more, so I have a total of 32.
Okay. Let me see. I need to make sure that I have, because I have. Okay, see, I'm behind you because I didn't add the last sessions. That's why. Because
The
I
last
only
one
have
we got
25.
5.
Right, so I didn't add the last session. That's what happened. So it should be 20, but then 22. Okay. Yeah, all right. I got it now. Just a moment. Okay. Then outro for our live stream. There we go. All right. Excellent. So we got that saved. Okay, good. Got it.
Yeah. Okay. So
Here's our final little message from our thing. Let's see what it has to say. Our storyteller.
The camera lingers on the dark industrial skyline. Freight lights burn in the distance. Somewhere beyond the fence line, Atlantic Freight Terminal continues its work, unaware, or perhaps not, of the eyes watching from the shadows. For nights now, John Bain and Vladimir Wolfenstein have followed a trail that began with a simple criminal pickup. A warehouse became a rail facility. A rail facility became a distribution network. A distribution network became a hierarchy. South Brooklyn led to Greenpoint. Greenpoint led to Atlantic. And every answer uncovered another layer beneath it. Along the way, memories were erased. Facilities were infiltrated. Evidence was recovered. A blood logistics operation stretching across Brooklyn was exposed piece by piece. Yet the deeper the investigation goes, the more one question remains unanswered. Who is really behind Marrow? Tonight's investigation brought the coterie to the edge of Atlantic Freight Terminal, the largest and most important facility they've encountered so far, a place that may be nothing more than another step in the chain, or the place where the chain finally ends. For now, the fence remains unbreached. The terminal remains active, and the truth remains hidden somewhere beyond the perimeter. Thank you all for joining us for another night of Shadows on the Third Rail. We'll pick up next session with John and Vladimir still in position, watching, waiting, and preparing to make their next move. Until then, stay out of the light, trust no one, and remember, the most dangerous thing in the dark is rarely the thing you can see. Fade to black.
I like how it added fade to black at the end. All right,
Yeah.
one second here. No, it's because I told it to give me an outro for our live stream. I typed that in, and I'm exiting the game now. And it said, and so that's why it said like camera, like it as if it was I don't know. It's AI, guys. We're working with it. I think it's working all right. There's some little issues, but we're getting through it. So, but all right, yeah, excellent. So this has been like I said, the ninth session, right? Yes, session 9.
yeah.
And I think that we are getting closer here to the end. I think that we're going to be able to finish this up probably in the next few sessions, hopefully. Hopefully it doesn't drag on too long here, but actually this has been great. So that's what we've got today, guys. Anything you want to say to everybody before we head out?
No, I just appreciate anybody who's watching, and like they said, beware of the black.
Yeah, here, let me see. I want to show everybody. See,
Beware of the dark.
The dark, yeah. Let me see. The light. No, stay out of the light. What do you? No, wait. It's until then.
yeah.
Stay out of the light. Trust no one, and remember the most dangerous thing in the dark is rarely the one that you can see. What a great tagline. See, I need to utilize stuff like that more often. Also, check it out. Dad is such a big nerd. Lore Master Brian has a 3D printed version of Vladimir Wolfenstein. I need to get one now. It sounded like they were a little bit expensive, but that's the guy you're seeing right there on your left. So, or on the right, excuse me. So,
Right. Just not in human form. It's full vamp mode.
yeah, when he goes all angry. But
go
all
all
right,
natural.
excellent. Yeah. So we're doing these every other week. So it won't be next. We won't pick up next week. We'll do it the week after. That's what we've got going on. I do want to say it's really great to be here and have you guys watching. I appreciate all the support, and I appreciate. I like to be able to make stuff that you guys enjoy. So if you guys enjoying it, I really appreciate it. That's really awesome. Also, I want to say, so it is June 21st, 2026, which means that it is Father's Day, and it's awesome because I have Lore Master Brian as my dad, and then I actually am about to go do some stuff with my kids. Yesterday, my son and I, Brian, we beat the game Castle Crashers together. And now my daughter wants to play. I don't know how that's going to work because she's little. But happy Father's Day. You know, there's any boy can plant a seed, but it takes a true farmer to raise a crop, is what they say. And I have Dad here with me, and I can tell you that I could have done a lot worse. We'll put it that way. No, I love Dad. Everybody knows that I love my dad. My wife, she always makes fun of me because I think Dad is so great and all that stuff or whatever. That's what she always. I think that Ellie's my wife. She tries to exaggerate how much I respect and appreciate you, Dad. She tries to make me feel bad about loving you, is what I think it is. No.
Oh, I'm just straight up honest.
Yeah.
That's all.
No, I'm just joking though, but Ellie always does. She says, "Oh, you and your dad." It's like, yeah, I mean, I love my dad. What's wrong with that? No, so if you're watching this and you didn't remember or you didn't realize that it was Father's Day today, if you're watching it, either have been watching it live or watching it later today, make sure to tell your dad you love him. If you're watching this and it's not Father's Day, go and tell your dad you love him anyway. We don't do that enough. And moms get all of the credit for everything, and they deserve all. Moms deserve all the credit in the world, right? But dads don't always get their due. We'll put it that way. But that's all we've got today, guys. I want to thank you all for watching and just say God bless you all. And I really actually do like this. God bless you all. And until I see you next time, stay out of the light. Trust no one, and remember, the most dangerous thing in the dark is rarely the thing that you can see. God bless you all, and have a good night.